Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, bringing you episode 3 of my How to Get Better at Call of Duty series. Now, this episode is called Flexibility and Tactics, and on first viewing, that might sound quite a broad and vague title, but it's actually quite straightforward, and this video will help explain what I mean. Now, this game of WMD starts with me using the MP5K and a typical rushing class. My perk setup is Lightweight Pro, Sleight of Hand Pro and Marathon, and it's one of my go-to classes when I want to charge the enemy. However, this game doesn't really go to plan. I run into a team of players who are sitting back with their claymores, playing very, very defensively, and my rushing style doesn't go very well against them. So what happens is I end up having a pretty terrible start to the game. I think by a couple of minutes in, I am on about 5 kills and 10 deaths. So I've really had a very, very bad start. But what I do is I just keep calm, decide to change up my tactics, and in the end I turn it around into a very, very decent score. And that is what this video is about. It's about when things are going a little bit shakily for you, not simply throwing your toys out the pram, blaming God, Allah and Zombie Jesus in the game for all of your woes are caused by Call of Duty. It's just all about taking a step back, thinking, why am I playing badly this game, and dealing with it. And that is the most important thing to take from this video. Now, as you can see, I've died a couple of times to people sitting back. I've died a couple of times to claymores. People are using stoners, G11s, M16s, the vast majority of the assault rifles, just sitting back, playing very, very defensively, and I'm getting killed quite easily at the moment. So what I decide to do in a minute, I think it's in 1 or 2 deaths time, is I bring out my M60. Now, the M60 is a weapon perfectly suited to this map, because as you know, WMD has quite a lot of medium to long range gunfights, and the M60 is an absolutely fantastic weapon at medium range. However, if you do turn the corner and run into someone, you can still black them down with it, so it's a pretty good all-round weapon. And what I decide to do is to switch to it when I realise things aren't going quite well. Now, as you know, the centre building of WMD is the most important part of the map. It's the building I'm in now, and it's the building that has the best views over both B and the A objectives. So you can sit back and defend both objectives very, very easily. And that's what I decided to do. The rushing attempt hasn't really gone as planned, so what I decided to do is, instead of continuing with it, I switched to my M60 and just go on a pretty good tear actually, and end up with a very, very decent score. Now, sometimes you do want to rush the enemy, and it's a very, very good tactic, and occasionally you catch people completely unawares and you can get massive, massive gameplays. But as you can see here, I continually keep dying to claymores, keep getting picked up by people sitting back, so I decided to change the tactics. And your first tactic won't work all the time. I mean, you'll have a set plan for most maps by now, because the game's been out for a while, so you'll begin to know what most of the maps are like, what weapons you can and can't get away with on certain maps, and you'll be quite comfortable with that. However, sometimes you'll decide to change it up and it won't quite work, as it turns out here. I mean, I end up getting pretty battered early on in the game. But the important thing is to remain flexible. You see a lot of people, especially the more inexperienced players, they will go into a map with a weapon. They'll find out that the weapon isn't quite suited to the map they're on, but instead of changing tactics, changing their positioning, they'll keep sticking with it and keep getting killed and end up just feeding the enemy free kills. Now, at this precise moment in time, I think I'm 5 and 10, so it's a pretty horrendous start to the game. But what I do now is I just get the M60 out, sit a little bit deeper, and decide to just defend objectives, because I'm playing with, I think, James and Matt again in this gameplay, and they know what they're doing, so they've managed to get the 2 objectives down pretty early on in the game while I've been having my mare session, and now I can finally come to the party and actually give them some help. Now, today I am using the grip on the M60. I know before I told people not to use the grip because it's actually quite useless the vast majority of the time, but when you at that slightly longer range map that WMD is, especially when you're in this middle building, having a grip can be quite useful, because it virtually eliminates all recoil, and it leads the M60 to be one of the best long range weapons you can have. It still retains that close-up ability that a sniper rifle doesn't have, but it is very, very accurate over long range if you burst fire. So it's a fantastic weapon to use, and if you haven't really used it, I fully recommend it. But as you can see here, I get I think that's my 2nd kill streak of the game, and from here it only goes up. I begin to slowly build up my kill streaks again, slowly push the enemy back, and we end up winning the game quite comfortably. And that is the important thing. You might have an absolutely horrendous start, but if you keep it together, keep calm, and end up doing well, you'll end up pulling off some very, very good scores. Just want to say something now. This is the perfect place to put a napalm if you want to defend B. because not only will it cover the B objective, it will go into the C spawn. So you'll end up picking a lot of kills. Now my other favourite napalm spot in this map is just along the C road. I think you might see me place a napalm down there in a minute, and if I do I'll point it out for you. But it is a very, very easy way to get a lot of kills, especially in ground war, which is the game mode I'm playing now. Because it's 9-a-side and because WMD is a medium-sized map and not a massive one, a lot of enemies are quite clumped together, and napalm can really be used to get you a lot of kills. So if your KD's been dropping recently, if you've been struggling, I recommend using napalm. It's only 4 kills with hardline, so you can get it pretty easily and it will get you a lot of kills. It really is a fantastic middle kill streak. Admittedly, it isn't quite as potent as the higher 8, 9 and 10 kill streaks of like the Blackbird, Chopper Gunner and Dogs, but it is a lot easier to get than that, and it's a lot more consistent than those are, because a lot of the time you'll work very, very hard, you'll get your Dogs, you'll get your Chopper Gunner, and then your Chopper Gunner will get shot down within 30 seconds of it being up in the air, and your Dogs will only get you 1 or 2 kills. But there is really no way to counter napalm. You can't shoot napalm down, and the only perk that gives you protection from it is Flak Jacket Pro, and the vast majority of people won't be using that. So it's a fantastic way to get yourself a lot of kills, and as you can see there, I picked up a 5-in-1 multi-kill there, and people continually walk into the napalm in the next few minutes too, so it's just a very, very easy way to get yourself a lot of kills. Now, as you can see, I've completely turned my game around. I'd started off, I think I was 5 and 10, 5 and 11. I'd really had a terrible start. But now, just by changing the tactics, changing up what I'm doing, changing my position on the map, letting the enemies come to me, I really have turned it around. And we end up having a very easy victory in the end from a game that could have easily gone to a loss. And that's complete and utter rubbish. That I had a look at that back in theatre mode, and I was hitting that guy with at least 3 or 4 bullets, and then another fantastic spawn there, but I'd already hit my top kill streak, so when that happens it's not that important if you die. It's a lot better to be a bit more aggressive once you've got that final kill streak, because even if you sit back and get 3 or 4 of the kills, they're wasted kills. You're not building to any more kill streaks, and the enemy know where you are, so you're using big spots that you could use in the future to get further kills. So the flexibility part also comes into what you do after you've got the kill streaks. It's not just to stay in one spot in the entire map, it's to move around, it's to switch up between offense and defense, because as you saw here, offense really wasn't working this map, so I decided to go a little bit more defensive, and it pays dividends. I pick up all my kill streaks very, very easily, and it ends up getting me a lot of kills. I'm just going to pause it there just to mention that napalm. You know, that is a fantastic spot to get a lot of kills on this map. If you have napalm and you're on the A spawn, you really can cut the route off to B and get a lot of kills. And the thing is, if you place the napalm on the road, the enemies will continually spawn in the building just behind it. So they'll walk out into the napalm 3 or 4 times sometimes. Some of the people you're up against really are pretty dumb. And also, you have the invisible napalm glitch that happens every now and again, and people just forget you've dropped a napalm just because they can't see it. They'll walk into it again and die. And it's a glitch that's been around for a while, so I'm surprised Treyarch haven't patched it, but you might as well make use of it while it's there. Keep dropping napalm, drop it right on the objective. It's a very easy way to get offense, medals as well. So if you're going for that challenge to get, I can't remember what pro perk that is, I think it might be lightweight, but if you're using napalm, it's a very, very easy way for you to get those objective kills. Anyway, the gameplay is beginning to wind to a close now. As you can see, I've really turned it round. Getting my kill streak up, getting some easy defence, and helping the team to a pretty easy victory. Now, I think my final score is 48 and 12. Sorry, I just have to clear my throat there. 48 and 12, so admittedly it's not the most fantastic game in the world, but what it does do is it shows how easy it is to remain flexible, and how a bad start doesn't always mean you're going to have a bad game. Once again guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please rate and comment as always, and I hope you found these tips useful. And James, you stopped me getting a triple there, mate. It's just selfish, isn't it, that? Never mind. Anyway, guys, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.